Okay, so here we are, about halfway through the build of the Sworks SL8. I need to speed it up and get it finished because there's only so long you can leave all that mess on the dining table and not get in trouble. And basically it's just finishing off the brakes and getting the crankset installed. Unfortunately, I decided to go for the only bottom bracket in the world that no one has the mounting tool for. It's 2 bike shops, no one's got it. I have got a few and it doesn't fit. This is a THM BB, so that's kind of delayed things a little bit. Can't really install that properly just yet. I have done a few little tweaks, such as cutting this down, getting a nice little loop bolt in the seat post clamp. I've also trimmed down the Garmin holder, which was double that size. And now that I'm going to paint that black. Don't worry, it looks a bit rough, but it's actually quite smooth. It's got a few extra holes drilled in it. So yeah, that's lighter. One thing which is a little bit annoying about these SL8s, which I've discovered, is that you have this gap here, and there's absolutely, when I first assembled the bike kind of dry and looked at it, I was convinced that I had a wrong part, that the bearing was wrong or that the compression ring was wrong, but that is how it's supposed to sit, and some are worse than others. It's at least 1 or 2 millimeters gap, and I think it looks quite rough actually. I don't think it looks good. And also the other issue is that there's really nothing preventing water and dust getting in to that top bearing, which is just below there. And people have been reporting early bearing wear on that. So I don't know, it's just not a brilliant design, I don't think, that bit. I might machine that compression ring to get it to sit a bit lower. I don't want to do it just yet in case I make a miss of it, but if I get a spare one, I'll do it and then try it out and see if I get it to sit flat. Yeah, passing Di2 cables wasn't too bad, but you actually have to remove the front derailleur clamp to get the cable to come out, because it comes out right behind the clamp. And when you do that in typical specialized fashion, the little clamping plate behind falls down, and you have to kind of shake it loose and it comes out down here, and then it's a right faff to try and position it back behind, inside the seat tube, behind the 2 holes, and get the 2 screws back into it. I won't go into it, but it took me about an hour and a half of a lot of swearing to get that back in position. And one of the very first videos I actually made was on an SL5, where the seat clamp falls down the seat tube when you take out the seat post. And mine actually fell down here and went right up the chainstay. This is when chainstays were quite big, and it ended up here. I didn't even realise it. You should check the video out, it's quite funny. That still exists, that problem, by the way. If you have an SL5, just be very careful of that. So Specialized do like to throw in a little trap for you here and there. So yeah, now it's time to just get it finished off. I wonder if we can get this weighed as it is right now without any disasters. I don't think there's much point really weighing it like this, but you know. Yeah, anyway, couldn't weigh it, but that's how it looks right now. This is where I will cut the steerer, so it's pretty much slammed. The position, the only downside to all this is that I could only find a bar in 400 by 135, as opposed to the 380 by 130 that I normally have. They make strange sizes, Roval, and I don't understand quite why they've picked the sizes that they have, and they're quite limited in narrow sizes, which is strange. You know, whose decision was that? You know, it's clearly going that way, and stock is super low as well on everything. Even if I wanted to try and get a Derima or one of these EXSs, File Sports, they're all out of stock. Nobody's got anything, and I had to search like crazy just to find this one. So if I wanted to ride this bike without stealing the Ostro Black Ink handlebar, which I didn't really want to do, even though it does work apparently, then I had to go for this. So it's going to feel slightly different. Everything else about the position will be the same, but this will obviously feel a little bit wider. The length 5mm, I'm sure we'll get away with that. So I'm going to try and replicate the position as best I can. The wheels will just be the extra light tubs, 39mm. This is obviously going to be built as light as possible, and I will try and keep the Ostro for the time being with, this has actually got my Cadence 60mm on the back, and normally there should be the 50 Cadence on the front. So this is going to become the kind of aero bike for now. It is for sale, but for the time being, that's going to be the aero bike. And the crankset will be the Rotor Aldu Carbon, same as that one. I might have to borrow that one for the moment. And the saddle, AX Lightness Phoenix. I actually have two already, but one is on the Ostro and one is on my gravel bike. And on the gravel bike, it's on one of those Darimo loops, which is a nightmare to get on and off. So I was going to borrow that, but actually I see that they've changed the design of the AX Lightness Phoenix now slightly at the back. So get one of those, pop that on there. And all in all, it's actually not as light as I thought it would be, according to the spreadsheet. We're more around the 5.8 mark. But that's pretty good. And there's tweaks that can still be done to get it lower. So yeah, let's finish off the build and see what it actually really does weigh.